and gentlemen, how you doing? It's Wednesday, October 16th, 2019, and this is your AEW full show review. Man, and honestly, AEW tonight, this was probably one of their less explosive shows tonight, and I understand why we didn't get as big of a show as I thought we would have got tonight. Not saying it wasn't a solid show, it was a solid show. But it's just that ending. I expected the street fight to be a little more, especially what we saw from Omega and Janela yesterday on AEW Dark. But pretty much AEW was a decent show. And let's just get into some of my notes and reviews that I got today. First match we had was the Best Friends versus SCU. Before the match starts, you have Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian. They're coming out, and they are attacked by the Lucha Bros. The Lucha Bros are beating them down outside. Pentagon Jr. has Christopher Daniels up in his package pile driver position, and he gives him that package pile driver on the steel ramp. So pretty much Christopher Daniels is taken out of the match. He can't compete. Ray Phoenix was about to do the same thing to Frankie Kazarian. Luckily, Scorpio Sky comes out, but what happens is with Scorpio Sky, he's in just regular clothes. He's not in to wrestle. And what I liked about what they did about that is they allowed Scorpio Sky to fill in for Christopher Daniels because he's still a part of SCU. And with Scorpio Sky coming in with just his regular clothes and wrestling, that made the AEW tournament just seem more legitimate and more important, like for what these teams are fighting for. So pretty much the Best Friends and SCU was a good back and forth match. It was a pretty hard start for AEW. This match was a pretty hard start. The ending kind of fell flat a little bit. At the end of the match, you had Frankie Kazarian, I think he had Trent Beretta in a powerbomb position and was laying him down, and Scorpio Sky did a drop kick, but he kind of missed him. But they wound up getting a pinfall, 1-2-3. SCU wins, and they advance on to the tournament, and I believe they're going to be facing the Dark Order. Yeah, I believe they face the Dark Order in the second round. Then you have Santana and Ortiz. You finally have these two debuting. Well, they already debuted before, but this is like their first official tag team match. And you have them going up against, two enhancement talent guys. They did a good job selling for those guys tonight. And pretty much, you know who wins, Santino and Ortiz. After the end of the match, you have Chris Jericho pop up on a Titantron. Chris Jericho, he's giving us his his usual banter, his late champion grace, and he's just telling us Santino and Ortiz. He's just pretty much putting over Santino and Ortiz, and he's pretty much just he throws a challenge to the Young Bucks, as he tells the Young Bucks, hey, my guys want a shot at you. My guys just don't want to beat you. They want to kick your ass. And he even puts over the Young Bucks, saying they're one of the greatest tag teams in the world. But he says with Santino and Ortiz, he doesn't think the Young Bucks are ready for that type of battle that inner circle is going to give them. So pretty much, Chris Jericho lays out a challenge for Full Gear November 9th. Santino Ortiz versus the Young Bucks. And I feel like that's going to be a really, really good matchup. After that match, we have... let me check my notes here. Yep. Yeah, so after that matchup, we have a full promo for Cody Rhodes. And guys, when you have a lot of spare time, this is what I wish the WWE main roster would do. When you have spare time like that, don't just give us little throwaway segments and segments that just don't mean nothing, cheesy, useless segments. That segment with what Cody Rhodes did tonight made so many people emotionally invested in Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes did not say one word that segment. The only thing you got from Cody Rhodes was he just kissed his wife, Brandy. And then Brandy goes on and says, when Cody gets in this mood of, as soon as we knew he was facing Jericho, I kind of knew Cody wasn't going to be here for a while. We kind of lost Cody for a minute. And you just had everybody putting Cody over, like how he takes his profession seriously, how he's not just trying to be great just because of his dad's name. He wants to build his own legacy. And I just felt like, man, that was just perfect. I cannot wait for this Jericho and Cody Rhodes match because I know it's going to deliver. And the people are going to go crazy for Cody Rhodes. I just know it. So after that promo, you have Rio versus Britt Baker. And to be totally honest, man, like, I feel like each women's match is pretty much the same in AEW, man. It's just the same routine, and I feel like they haven't really gotten in a flow with each other yet. Not saying it wasn't a good match. It was a good match, but that's when I go back to the talent. I feel like it's really the talent and the experience. So with WWE, just like I said last week, you have the Sasha Banks, the Charlottes, the Beckys, the Bayley, you know what I mean? And they know how to wrestle, but they're booked poorly. But when you get to AEW, these are women who are booked great, but really don't have the talent. I wouldn't even say talent, I would just say experience, because these girls can go, you know what I mean? But yeah, they just don't have that experience the way those other girls do. And so, but what you seen was, when you have that good booking and you have people actually care about a person and you book them correctly, the crowd was still cheering them on. The crowd pretty much, all the women's matches we seen, the crowd made those women's matches more than what they really were. And I'm being totally honest. Those women's matches really were, I wouldn't say duds, but they weren't really, hitting for me. But the crowd makes it better. And that's why I say, that's what I love about AEW. Like, their crowd is always into things. It's great. So you have Rio beating Britt Baker. And I feel like that was a great transition. Like, that was one of the better parts of the matchup. You have Britt Baker about to give her lockjaw submission to Rio. Rio's closing her mouth. Britt Baker kind of opens it, finally gets her to open it, right? And then Rio just kind of flips over and then kicks Britt Baker for the surprise roll-up pin. So that was a crazy way to finish that match. That was awesome. And our next match, we have Pac and Moxley versus Omega and Page. This was a really good match, and I like the build-up that was going on. And the storytelling in this match was great. You pretty much had a back-and-forth match. And during this match, it was one part, Omega and Moxley finally had their intense stare down. Like, they were going at it during the match, but they finally had like that intense stare down. Paige and Pac were taken outside of the ring. They were all down. And Omega goes under the ring and he grabs his barbed wire broom again. Moxley goes on the other side of the ring and he grabs his bat. So they about to go at it. And what I like, the referee, he's trying to tell them, hey, y'all, don't do this. But Moxley kind of just pushes him aside, and the referee like, hey, y'all have at it. And I love that. That really makes Moxley's character so legitimate, like, to where referees don't even want to get involved with what Moxley is trying to do. And so, you have Moxley try to take a swing at Omega. He misses it. Omega takes a swing at Moxley. Moxley dodges it, hits Kenny Omega with the end of the bat. And then he's about to hit Omega with the bat while he's down. And then you have Pac grab the bat, like hand bleeding and all. And he's like, hey, what are you doing? We can get disqualified. And guys, the reason why I love that part so much, because last week you had Pac telling us how he's undefeated and how he should be a #1 contender for the World Championship. So Pac is really taking his record seriously. He didn't want Moxley to just go ahead and do something crazy that cost him a loss and makes him go down the lower rankings for a title shot. And then, you have the regular unhinged Moxley, and he gives Pac, I forgot what they called the move, but he gives him the double arm DDT, and he walks out the ring. And Omega and Page pick up the victory. The reason why I like that so much, because that's just great storytelling. Not only was you getting Moxley and Omega storyline built up, you also had Pac getting built up as well in that. And that was just great to see, man. That was just great. And now booked for next week, we have Pac and Moxley. And just like I told y'all, man, I didn't know they were gonna pull the trigger so fast on this match. So I'm expecting a screwy finish because I feel like what's gonna happen, Moxley is gonna wind up turning face at some point. And I really feel like after him and Omega's match, I feel like Moxley's gonna be turning face at some point. And I feel like Moxley might lose, or the match would just be a no contest at Full Gear because I feel like Pac is going to get involved. Because like you say, Pac is the bastard. What is one match we've been waiting for that we haven't gotten yet? And that's Omega and Moxley. So who's to say Pac doesn't come in and just lays waste to both of them in the ring? Because he's the bastard. That's going to be great. That's going to be great. After that, we have Chris Jericho versus Darby Allin. And I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. Darby looked great during this match. They did a good job on booking Darby. They honestly just made a whole nother star in Darby. Like, they actually have a whole nother main star in Darby after this match. But the thing was, I felt like they could have gave us a little bit more in this main event match. And I get it. You don't want to... I get it with AEW. You don't want to keep giving us explosive shows week after week after week because it'll start getting stale to us. You know what I mean? We'll keep thinking, oh, what are they going to do better? And we're just going to keep craving for more and more. And, you want to kind of save that stuff for other days. You know what I mean? And so I got why I got why the show was booked the way it was tonight. So at the end of the match, you have Darby Allin. He's tied up. Chris Jericho pretty much hog-tied him. And Darby Allin is making a comeback, man. He's doing moonsaults off the top rope on the Chris Jericho. He's doing suicide dives. Like, he's killing it, man. And so you get to the point where Darby Allin's about to do his signature coffin drop. Then you have Jack Hager, Chris Jericho's bodyguard, come over. And he knocks out Darby Allin off the top rope, giving Jericho the way to finally put in the Lion Tamer on Darby Allin, and Darby Allin gives up. And after that, the show pretty much ends rather quickly because they were very short for time. It ends with the Inner Circle celebrating with champagne. To give y'all my honest opinion, this was really one of the, like I said in the beginning, this was really one of AEW's weaker shows, honestly. I'm usually giving AEW an 8, and their dark matches I'm giving like 7.5, 7s. But this one, I got to give it a 6.5. And I'm not saying this was a bad show at all. It really wasn't. If they just could have gave us more in that... main event, that would have been great. And also, I almost forgot to review this. I'm glad I thought about it. The Lucha Bros versus Jurassic Express. This was another reason why I think the card kind of fell flat tonight. Luchasaurus was injured, so he wasn't able to wrestle. So, they had to do what they can with Jungle Boy's other guy. I forgot his name already, man. Dang it. So, the smaller guy who does the little floss dance and everything. Yeah, so they had to pretty much do what they can, which they did a good job. It still legitimized the Lucha Bros. The Lucha Bros didn't look hurt for doing, because everybody pretty much understand why they had to put that little guy over like that, because Luchasaurus was pretty much injured. And I felt like that match would have came off way better with Luchasaurus. I felt like we would have got a way better match with Jurassic Express and Lucha Bros. But it was still good for what they did. And just like I said, man, I think we all had like just these high hopes for the night, and like, not saying they didn't deliver, it just didn't deliver how we expected. So I honestly got to give tonight a 6.5. 6.5. But one thing I can say, this was still a solid show. And I can honestly say our intelligence is never tested with AEW. One thing AEW doesn't do, they never test our intelligence. They never play with it. They don't take it for granted. They give us logical booking, and that's why I'm still giving it a 6.5, because the booking is logical. Yeah, some of the matches may have fell short, but the storytelling in those matches were great. And so everything just built to something. And you know, with the Full Gear event coming soon, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a crazy go home show because, you know, they're going to try to get those buys. So I just want everybody to stay tuned for that. But other than that, AEW was a solid show. A 6.5 for me. This is Chill Guy TV signing out. Y'all stay blessed.